Hello and welcome to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads. And a big shout out to our friends listening from New York on Business Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is It's All About Dating. Just love talking about dating and falling in love and finding the right person for you. And joining me on this journey every week is the lovely, beautiful Lori Mendelsohn. Welcome, Lori.
Hello, Dr. Jack.
Oh, we finally got it. It took how many episodes?
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You know, yesterday I interviewed someone and he made a comment that when someone asks how he's doing, he always says, excellent as always. Excellent as always, and he feels better when he says that, regardless of how he's feeling. So I think from now on, I'm going to say better than excellent.
I love that. And I also learned something this weekend at this business retreat that I was at, which was, I'm sure you know who Mel Robbins is, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Mel Robbins was taking questions from the audience, and one of the people in the audience said, I'm sorry. And Mel looked at her and said, don't ever say you're sorry. Just look at that person and say, thank you for your grace. And that was so powerful because we apologize so many times that we really don't need to. So I know that this isn't, on the same scale of what you're saying. But, if you think about it, why are we always apologizing? Just say thank you for your grace.
It's so good. And by the way, both of these things, what I shared and what you shared, that other people shared with us, can be incorporated in how we relate to other people, including in a dating scenario or in a relationship.
Yes, indeed. Well, I have to tell you, Jacalyn, I am so excited about our guest today. And I have a little backstory about Frances.
All right, let's hear it.
Frances and I met right at lockdown. We met on LinkedIn, and we didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to get our businesses to stay afloat. And so we said, why don't we do a Zoom call? And why don't we record it? And why don't we put it on LinkedIn? So at the early stages of the pandemic, that's exactly what we did. We did a Zoom call together. We talked about dating. We talked about lockdown. We talked about how you can date strategically while you're in quarantine. And dang, almost 2 years later, here we are still in quarantine and still talking about dating. So I can't wait to see her.
What a great story. I love that. I love that. And so on the LinkedIn, who reached out to whom? How did that happen?
I think that we both reached out to each other and we started brainstorming. What are we going to do? How are you doing it in Ireland? And she asked me, how are you doing it in the United States? And everyone, automatically everything moved over to Zoom. If only I had bought stock in Zoom, 18 months ago, we wouldn't be sitting here, right? but right. Nonetheless, we just put our heads together and said, let's just try it. Let's just go for it. We have nothing to lose. We're not doing anything else. We're not going anywhere. So we tried, and it didn't look very professional, but still we got the job done.
Well, I love hearing about collaborations. As you know, I love people reaching out, especially across the world. I mean, how cool is that she's over in Ireland and you're here in the United States? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Lori, one thing that Frances shared, as you know, before the show started, is that she really wants people to know that there's at least one person or more out there with 8 billion people in the world, and you should not give up hope regardless of what happens. So let's bring her on. She's a dating coach and expert. Let's welcome Frances Kelleher. Hi, Frances.
Hi, girls. Thanks so much for having me.
So nice to see you. By the way, you already know this, but we're so enamored with the way you speak. It's so much nicer than the way Americans speak, like me. Americans speak. It's just.
Dr. Jacalyn, why don't we just have her read the dictionary?
Yes.
Thank you so much. No, we think the same about you. the Irish speak very fast and the Americans are a bit slower. So it's a nice lull, it's relaxing to listen to you because sometimes we speak so quickly. So it's easier to understand what you're saying, definitely.
Well, I just love the way you speak. And I think it brings up a good point that I'd like us to start chatting about is regardless of where you're from in the world, when we're looking to have a relationship with someone, we have to not only speak, but we have to be able to listen. And recently, someone shared with me they went out on a date and in person, and the other person did not stop talking. It was just from the minute they sat down to get the meal, the other person was blah, 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 blah. What are your thoughts, ladies, about what do you do when you want to let people know about you on the first date? Because there's different schools of thoughts. Don't tell them everything. Do tell them everything. I'm going to start with Frances.
Okay, so, well, first of all, listening is huge in dating. I mean, people think that flirting is all about, doing the dance and, expressing yourself and doing all the taking action. But, flirting, listening is a form of flirting. So it's huge in dating. And, men should leave the women do 80 to 70% of the talking. Talking is feminine energy, listening is masculine energy. And, really, girls, I don't know whether you agree with this, but I find as well, even from my own experience in life, everybody has a story to tell. And they want that special person there to listen to them, to hear them. That's ultimately the ultimate need of every human being. They just want to be heard. They want to be understood. They have their story to tell and they want somebody to tell it. So really, I feel, if you're a good dater, you'll make that person know that you're that person for them to tell the story to. So that is what I would say, that listening is so huge. But people feel, especially men sometimes, I find, they feel they have to sell themselves, they have to promote themselves. And, that's why they're talking, because they're trying to sell themselves as a brand and all that, when they should really sit back and listen more. But your question there, Jacalyn, about, should you reveal everything on the first date? And, I laugh because I see we have a program here, first dates, and people give their A to Z life story in the first 5 minutes of the date. And research has actually shown if you do that, other people actually see you as less trustworthy. That's what the research has shown. So I'm not for that at all. I'm all for, dating is about mystery, curiosity, anticipation, and those three things build desire and passion.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Lori, I'm going to ask you a little bit of a different question around the same topic. So suppose a person has health issues or financial issues, or maybe they know they're going to be leaving the country because they're getting transferred with their job or something. But they don't want to tell the other person because they're afraid that it might push the other person away. So then they get involved, and then the other person says, you should have told me this on the first date. You should have given me the option to say, I want to be involved with someone with this, or I don't. What should a person do, Lori?
Well, I think, Dr. Jacalyn, that it depends upon the age and stage of the person who is being asked the question. For example, in my age group, there are things that are wrong with us. I'm, in my mid-60s. There have to be things that are wrong, and I think that it's okay to talk about that. I wouldn't necessarily do it on the first date. My belief is on the first date, it should be kind of light chatter, getting to know you, a back and forth conversation. And I use the keyword conversation here, that men ask questions, women answer, women ask questions, men answer. And as Frances said, it's not as if the man needs to read his resume to the woman and is trying to sell himself and trying to promote himself and trying to establish that he is a worthy companion to her, a worthy suitor. But in terms of ailments, I think it depends on the age. I think finance is a very personal subject, but should be broached within the early stages of developing a relationship. I was on a date recently that the gentleman said, I'm looking for someone who is financially stable. He said, I'm not expecting her to support me, but she should be able to support herself. And I said, I understand. I am that woman. I am self-supporting and I don't need someone else to support me. I think if someone is leaving the country, I think they need to be transparent. I plan on moving next year. I'm not sure that I should even be dating anyone now unless they want to move to where I want to move. So I think that transparency, authenticity, and honesty are paramount in starting a relationship, because you have a false foundation that's built on lies, and that never, ever works. There you go.
Great points, Lori. Thank you. Frances, I'm going to go over to you with this question. So I hadn't even thought about this till Lori started talking about ages. I'm 58, so the thought of having children, it would be laughable. But should people share that information on a first date? Hey, I want to have 5 kids, or I've got 3 kids with this guy and I have 2 with another. Should that all come out initially?
To be honest, the 3 things for the first few dates, I would say, is to have fun, to see is there a real connection organically, and to get to know the person. They're the 3 things. So, and women are more guilty of this from my experience than men, that, people go in and it's almost like an interview. Like my clients have told me as well, the most horrid question they get asked is that they hate the most is, how long have you been single? Or, that's the famous question that people don't want, to talk about. Some people have been single for a decade because they've been concentrating on their careers, and it's been real, heavy weather for them to get up the ladder. They've been focusing on that. Other people have just got out of a relationship. So, people say to me, there's no right answer. If I say I'm single for a long time, it's not right. And if I say I've just come out of a relationship, it's not right. So I would say just keep it to having fun, getting to know the person. Now if you're asked directly out straight, do you have children, or how many children do you have? I mean, obviously don't lie. If it comes up naturally and organically, say it. But really, I think it's just for having fun and seeing is there a connection. Because I've had women clients and, the guys have asked them A to Z, and they've given their whole life story, and then the guy never calls them again. And they said, I'm doing this maybe once or twice a week, and I'm starting to feel stripped away. I'm starting to feel stripped bare, because I'm meeting these people. I owe them nothing. I'm giving them my whole life story, and then they're not even calling me. And I just, I'm feeling really, like I say, vulnerable, they're telling me. So I think, keep things light. People want to meet somebody that enhances their life. Women especially want fun. They all say, I want a fun guy. I just want to have a laugh. The Irish girls tell me, I just want to have a laugh. I'm working really hard, And like we say here in Ireland, we just want to have the crack. Crack is Irish for fun in the Irish Gaelic language. I just want to have a bit of crack on a Friday night. I work so hard all week. So, I would say keep it fun, keep the heaviness out of it, see do you like the person, and see is there a connection. So, my answer would be don't go into the A to Z of it like the interview mode.
Thank you. Thank you. And Lori, if someone said to you on a Friday night, I want a bit of crack, what would you say? Here, it has a different meaning here.
It does.
Yeah. Frances, what crack is here is cooked cocaine.
Yes.
So,
yes.
If someone said that to me, I'd say, well, I did that in my 20s already, so I don't need to do it in my 60s. But I completely agree that girls just want to have fun. Guys just want to have fun too. We do get, as women, I think women daters get hooked up in, is this the one? Way too fast before even deciding if they're compatible or they even enjoy being around the person. They're already envisioning, this guy walking down the aisle with them and buying a home. And we're just making these snap decisions. So I think I think if we can just take a deep breath and just enjoy the experience and live in the now and live in the present and enjoy the ride and be inquisitive and curious, like you said, Frances, that's the way to date. However, I'll say it again, in my age group, our runway is shorter. So I think that we're getting to things a lot quicker. We want to weed out more quickly.
Mm-hmm. Now, Lori, question for you. You mentioned age group. So I remember when I was in my 20s, and clearly I went the wrong way there, but I had a long list, and I wasn't really willing to give up on any of those things. As we get older, we realize that list has to be shorter, right?
Agreed.
So what's on the list that's important instead of what it was when we were decades younger?
I think, I'll speak for myself and the women who I coach. Everybody wants a man of integrity, value, and honesty, and someone who is involved in something other than himself, who is emotionally available, who is physically ready to have a relationship. I think that having these hard and fast rules of what you must have, for example, you have to be 6 feet, you have to make X amount of money, you have to have a certain status in life, a certain car. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. That's not what's important, and when I'm working with my female clients in my age group, I'll say, I think what you really want is just someone who will hold your heart in his hands and take the very best care of it and be there for you and age with you and look after you. The other is, as I always say, heated leather seats.
Oh, you're so funny, Lori. Thank you, Lori. Frances, what are your thoughts about that?
Definitely. I mean, I had women just the same like you, Laurie. He has to earn a certain amount per annum. He has to be 6 foot, even though only 19% of the Irish population of men are 6 foot, So, and he had to wear a certain type of shoes. Women are big into shoes. If you had the wrong shoes, oh my God. I said, ladies, the shoes aren't glued onto his feet. If you can buy him new shoes. I'd be giving out, I'd be saying, like we say in Ireland, cop on, stop blocking yourself from these amazing men, I see a lot of women that are blocking themselves, So, but then when COVID hit, I had women ringing me up saying, I don't care about any of that now. I just want somebody there when the chips are down. I just want a nice guy that will be in the house with me, that I can have companionship with, that there's a connection with, that there's chemistry there and there's a heart connection. So I think in one way, COVID was one of the best things that ever happened for dating, because all the crap, for want of a better word, went out the window and the real things that matter came in. And I always say to the women, kindness is so underrated. I mean, my God, kindness is number one. If you get a kind person, you're 70% there, okay, I always say, you need the 3 things for the relationship: the friendship, the chemistry, and the common values. But I mean, kindness is huge. If you meet someone kind and you get on with them, a lot of the time the chemistry builds. So like there's a thing as well in Ireland, I don't know whether you have this in America, there's more women with PhDs and higher education here. There's 2/3 of the women versus 1/3 of the men have a higher education. And even the matchmakers here in Ireland have told me that the women that come say, oh, he has to have a master's, he has to have a PhD, that's it. We have to be equal on the educational front. And I find the women, they have a block that intelligence is based on the education, which is not true at all. I mean, they've now discovered there's 7 emotional types of intelligence, from athletic intelligence, mathematical intelligence, emotional intelligence. It's not just academic. So I think a lot of the women have that block that they're not meeting great men because of that. They have that thing, oh, he has to have this, like what you said, Laurie, about the salary or, the house or whatever. Here, it's the education thing that they're hanging on to. So get rid of that. It's about the soul to soul connection, like Laurie said. It's about you connecting on the three levels with the person. Is he your best friend? You know, is he good to you? Is he kind? Get back to the kindness. And, you know, do you have the shared values? That's what keeps the relationship together.
Brilliant. Thank you. Lori, would you like to comment on that?
Well, I always like to throw in the handyman special, Francis, that it's an added bonus if he knows how to use power tools, non-power tools, actually fixes things around the house, can assist in what I call, and I hate to be sexist here, but I call them the man jobs. That is a beautiful thing too. I remember I last year, in the midst of a horrible snowstorm, we got close to 2 feet of snow that day. And I was out snow plowing, and I just was like, oh, God, where the hell is he? I don't want to be doing this. And I was thinking, God, I really want a man. I really want a man to just say, honey, you just stay indoors and stay comfy and cozy. I'll take care of it. That's like one thing that we all want a man to say to us is, don't worry, babe, I'll handle it, right? That's
Yes.
like gold to hear those words.
I'll take care of it. I'll take care of you. I agree.
Yes.
I always was with the guys who would call for someone to fix it. It's like, no, I wish you would just learn how to fix it. I have a quick digression. So the sink in the kitchen downstairs, the water was running out and there was a problem. So I contacted my nephew, who's a plumber, and he told me what to do. So I put on these gloves. I went underneath the sink. I wasn't happy, believe me. I had to twist this and do that. And anyway, I got this thing off. And he said, you're actually a plumber. And I thought, guess what? I'm a plumber now. I love it. So my point is, I didn't even think about having a man around because I thought it's up to me. I'm going to have to do it. But wouldn't it have been nice if there was somebody around to do it? Because it would just, I don't know. There's just something about that feeling like you're taken care of and that you're safe and that somebody has your back and that you don't have to do everything all the time.
That's right. And that does not require a master's or a doctorate degree. You've got a doctorate, Jacalyn. You don't
Yes.
need two in the household. You need a man with a tool belt.
Listen, I dated a guy once and he said this to me, we's gonna have a good time. And I said, we's? Who are we's? And I dated the guy. I asked him not to speak when we were in public, but I'm saying I don't think you have to have the education. I would agree with that.
100%, 100%. And, I've said as well to women, everybody's on a different journey. A man's parents mightn't have had enough money to send him to college. Maybe he was looking after a sick sibling that he couldn't work 2 jobs to put himself through college. You don't know people's circumstances. Be kind to people, be understanding, and, it will work out for you. Because this thing of, like I say, having these blocks that we don't know people's situations, everybody's on a different journey. Some people are luckier in life than others. Some people have been more privileged. That's not the person's fault, They're doing the best they can. So, appreciate people for who they are and where they've come from. And I think that's a great, way of thinking. You won't go wrong, I think, with that.
I agree with you. We're going to take a break, and I think I played this last time, but I just love this. It's a wonderful music video by a performer from the UK. Her name is Sam Sarah, and it's called Nothing Is Wrong with Me. Let's take a look at that, and then we'll be right back on It's All About Dating. Stay with us. Welcome back to USA Global TV, home of talking heads, and also welcome to our friends of Business Talk Radio, especially Chris Roberts. Chris, we are so excited to have you here on It's All About Dating with my co-host Lori Mendelsohn and our guest joining us from Ireland, Frances Kelleher. Frances, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Well, the pleasure is ours. So, Frances, I'd love to spotlight you. And I turn on my lamp because my screen is breaking up. And I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about your philosophy that there's more than one person for each of us, that there's a huge world out there. But yet we get in the mindset, I live in this small area, I'm on an island, I'm never going to see anybody, I'm never going to meet anyone. So what are your thoughts about that there is someone for everyone?
Yes, Dr. Jacalyn. I mean, I suppose it's the fairy tales as well we're brought up with, us women as well, Cinderella, Snow White, and you meet your prince, and it's drilled home to us that there's kind of the one soulmate, especially with the Hollywood films as well, or there's one person for you. But really, that's not true. I mean, and it's funny because I've heard and I've known, even here in my own town, older couples that their spouse passed away. They were married for years and years, and they got married again relatively quickly, and they were married for years to their second spouse. So that's proof enough even in that. But there's 8 billion people in the world, so there's more than one person for us, and it breaks my heart to see, and I see it a lot with the women, more so I think than the men, with the men too, but more so with the women, that they're looking for closure all the time. If they're the heart set on this one guy and they're hanging on to it for a couple of years, and they're missing the opportunities that are coming to them in between hand, and they want this closure from the guy. They either want the guy nearly to say face to face to them, I'm not interested, you're not the one, So there isn't just one person for us. There are different people out there. Give everybody a chance. Don't concentrate on just the one person. Keep moving forward. I mean, I have seen loads of situations where women are now, they're older, they're maybe in their 40s, and they're in panic mode and desperation mode because they either wasted a decade on the wrong guy being in the relationship, or they weren't even in a relationship and they kept chasing the one guy. They thought it was the one guy for them. And they've missed all this time and all these great men and all these opportunities in love. So I always tell people, one of the main things I feel to be successful in love is to get rid of the time wasters. Get rid of the time wasters. Anybody who's not committing to you, anybody who has one leg in and one leg out, that's on the fence all the time, anyone who isn't treating you well, breadcrumbing you, ghosting you, and, disappearing and then coming back for a month, then disappearing for a month, coming back, any of that behavior where somebody isn't 110% all in, they will waste the best and most precious years of your life when you could be with the other, meeting the other couple of people that could be right for you. So it's a huge thing that I want to say to people, that there's more than one person out there for you, and don't let just one person take up all your time and energy and waste some of the best and most precious years of your life. That it could be that case.
Frances, that is brilliant. Thank you. And you just saved me from having to write my life story, because you literally just told it right there.
Oh.
Yeah, one less thing I have to do now. All right, I like it. So something that you brought up that we haven't really touched on many of our shows, Lori, is about closure. Mm-hmm. What, like when you're leaving a relationship or a marriage, or you dated somebody and it didn't work out, do you have to have total closure where you had the conversation with the person? Sometimes people just disappear. You're in a relationship and they're just gone. They don't answer the phone anymore. You see them on Facebook. They're on a trip with somebody else. That did happen. Thank you. So how much closure do you have to have before you move on? Do you have to go to therapy? Do you have to talk to a counselor? Do you just like shove it down there and then just, close your feelings off and just move on? What do you do?
Frances, do you want to answer that and then I'll answer it?
Yeah, whatever you prefer. I would say the closure, it's very black and white. It's simple, it's simple, it's simple. You have to look after yourself first. Okay, it's your life, you only get one. When you're on your deathbed or in your coffin at 90, it's the things that you didn't do that you're going to regret. You know what I mean? You've only one life, you have to put yourself first. And I don't mean in a selfish way, I mean in a smart way. So it's simple. The closure is they're not interested. They're not all in. That's the answer. It's simple. That's the answer. They're not all in. They're not interested. You move on. That is the closure. You give yourself closure, because if you don't look after yourself and you don't give yourself closure, you might never get it.
Can I just say how empowering that is? Because if you think about it, girls, and I don't know if either one of you have done this, but I have definitely done this. It's like, well, he's not calling because he could be in a hospital. He might have been arrested. I mean, I've actually called hospitals searching for someone to see if they were actually in the hospital and they were actually dating somebody else. So to your point, they're just not into you. That movie, he's just not that into you, right? But it's so hard to accept that because they threw out the bait, right? And they reeled you in and you thought they were all in, and here it was just some kind of sick, twisted game, or they thought you were the right one and then they just didn't want you anymore. So I love that. There's something very empowering about that statement, Frances.
Yeah, but let me piggyback off of what Frances just said. So I think that it's important as women that we take our power, that we stand in our power, and we do not let the man make the decision if we are right for them. Think that we need to flip it and do a 180. What does this man offer me? Is he kind? Is he generous? Is he there for me? Is he involved? Does he meet me halfway? Does he meet me 100%? If he's not meeting the things that are really important to you, he's not going to. It just is not going to happen. There's no such thing as pixie dust that is sprinkled over men's heads that changes them. It just doesn't happen. So in my opinion and in my experience and what I advise my clients is you fish and cut bait and you move on to the next. And you live in a mindset of abundance versus scarcity. Now, a lot of women live in the scarcity. I'll never meet another man. There's no one else for me. I need to settle for crumbs. No, ladies, we're settling for a big, big, big cake. No more crumbs for us. And so what we do is we just say, I'm moving on to the next. This is not working out for me. I wish you love. I wish you luck. Please don't contact me again. We're not a good match. Nice meeting you. Bye-bye.
I love this too. Brilliant. So to both of you, to both experts we have here, my question is, so in order to do that, doesn't one have to take their heart and maybe put it behind lock and key so that you don't get emotionally involved? No.
You can't be fully in a relationship if your heart is under lock and key. We have to go into it thinking, you know what? I could get hurt and I could hurt them, but that's how it's going to be because I'm not realizing the potential of a relationship if I go in guarded. You know, we've all been hurt. We have all been hurt. We have all hurt others. We need to go in like a clean slate, hopeful, curious, compassionate, kind, and expect the same from the other person. And if we're not getting it, you fish and cut bait and you throw that dead animal back into the ocean. Right, Frances?
Yes. And, I would say as well, you can be smart about it. You don't have to, especially us women, we're looking for the Prince Charming. We connect very quickly with people, but you don't have to jump in. Like I always say, be a love detective. This is what I say to people. Be a love detective. That's your number one job when you start dating somebody, is to have fun, but be a love detective as well. Now, what I mean by this is watch for the evidence. Is this person trustworthy? Mm-hmm. Is this person enhancing my life? You don't give and give and give, because us women, we're givers, us women. And, we think if there's something wrong, we give and we give, because as women, when we're giving, the other woman, responds. But with men, it's different. If you keep giving and giving, the man thinks it's fine until you stop. It's like he doesn't miss the water till the well runs dry. So it's different languages for different sexes. But you can be smart and stand back and see what's been given back to you. You don't have to keep investing and not getting anything. Like I always say to people, you don't go up to McDonald's or JP Morgan or whatever company it is and say, listen, I'll work for free. I'll give you my time, my energy, but you don't have to pay me at all. That's not the way it works. It's an exchange of energy, and it's the same with relationships. You can go in, I agree with everything Laurie said, go in, open heart, open mind, but you can still be smart and observe and be your love detective and see the evidence. Is this person right for me? I'm not going to keep giving and get my heart broken if the other person isn't giving to and responding equally. And my friend has a great saying, well, she used to always copy this saying. It's not her saying, but what Laurie said, go in fresh and free and light. Keep the monkeys off your back. She used to always say that. And, that's in a way what Laurie's saying, don't bring the baggage in. Don't be, on high alert and afraid you're going to be hurt again. Keep the monkeys off your back. Leave the past in the past and go in with a fresh slate and give the person a decent chance.
Thank
Amen.
you. I love this idea of the love detective. That's pretty cool. So love detective and not having a scarcity mindset.
Yep.
Right? Because I know I have definitely been like that. I know plenty of girlfriends who have been like that, no, I need to find someone right now. And there's only 10 guys in this whole place. No, we have to put it out there. There's plenty of people. We have to be open and receptive.
Sorry, Jacalyn.
No, good.
A woman doesn't need a man. I mean, let's face it. And a man doesn't need a woman. We need ourselves. And we need to be kind and true to ourselves and honor ourselves. And we have to put ourselves first. And if we have a man in our life, great. If we have a woman in our life, wonderful. Whatever it is, whatever you prefer. But we can't lose who we are just because of our fear of being alone. We just can't.
Very good point. Excellent. Well, it's wonderful having two experts here. Frances, how do you work with your clients? What does that process look like?
Well, at the moment now with COVID, it's all online. I used to be meeting people back in the good old days. Please God, it'll start opening up again. It was starting to open up. And now, like I said, the numbers are getting really high again. So people have been asked not to meet up as much. But online, I do the sessions. So, I have international clients, so we can't meet, obviously in that situation. But I work in different areas with them. Like some people, it becomes very obvious what their block is. That's kind of my speciality, the confidence building and the blocks, because a lot of the time I feel, it's actually the person themselves that can be holding themselves back, or they've had a really, bad past experience and they need to just let that go and let it, into the past. So some people I work with over a very long term, other people are shorter, and other people have worked with me and they come back then for support. So it depends on the client's needs. But like I say, it's been all online since COVID.
Thank you. And we're sorry to hear about the numbers over there. That's not good. Not good. So, Lori, I just want to thank you for this incredible match that you found, the two of you coming together. And I wasn't aware of the fact that you had connected earlier. That's really beautiful.
We've known each other for years now, right, Frances?
Yeah. God bless LinkedIn. I mean, it's a great place.
And I think that's another thing, regardless of dating or professional relationships, just reach out to other people. I mean, I have so much fun connecting people. And I'll say to people, I hope you two will connect after the show and form your own collaboration, do your own thing. And then I see online that they're doing something. It's just so heartwarming.
It is. You're right, Dr. Jacalyn. And I think, again, what I was saying was COVID was the best thing, in ages to happen to dating. But I think it's been the best thing just for people in general, that we just have a new appreciation of people. and people's personalities and the different types of people that we can connect with. And, we just have a new appreciation of just human to human interaction. We just took it so for granted, like everything. It's funny when the water goes here in the house, if there's a pipe burst or the electricity goes, you don't miss it till it's gone. And then you think, oh my God, how do I live without this? I can't cope. That's like with COVID, people were so lonely, and there was a loneliness epidemic before COVID ever started, in the world. And I just think it really made people appreciate, the relationships they had. And as we know from research, relationships, the quality and the amount of relationships you have is actually what determines your happiness in life. It's the relationships and the connection with people. So I think we've a whole new appreciation for that, which isn't a bad thing,
I agree. That's a really good point. We are actually at the end of our show, which always makes me sad, but it's been a pleasure meeting you. And I hope you'll come back and see us again. Frances, you have so many wonderful gems that you shared with our audience today.
Thank you so much for having me, ladies. Honestly, this is the highlight of my month. So I'd love to come back. Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. And Frances, we have been streaming your banner, and I also put your information on social media, but I'm going to spotlight you. And for people listening on Business Talk Radio or who can't read the banner, what's the best way for people to reach you, and who should reach out to you?
So anybody, single, male, female, looking for love, doesn't matter where you are, it's one global community now, especially with COVID. So, you can email me, franceskelleher1@gmail.com, or direct message me on Instagram. And there's no problem. Go to my website, www.franceskellehercoaching.com. And Frances is spelled Frances, Kelleher, Kelleher.
Thank you so much, Frances. Appreciate that. And it was nice meeting you. And again, you are more than welcome to come back anytime. Just go over to drjacalyn.com, book your session.
Thank you so much, girls. Thanks a million.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Frances.
Take care of yourself.
Good
Bye.
seeing you again.
Good seeing you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I just love her. She has so many good points, so many just insightful tips that she shared.
Yeah, agreed. And when we did that Zoom call together, she said, when we're done with the pandemic, I want you to come over to Ireland and meet some nice men. I still have thought about that, Dr. Jacalyn.
Guess what? I bet you will.
We'll see. We will see.
You will.
Yes.
I'm planning on going to London in the spring. I mean, I just put it out to the universe. That's what I'm planning on doing. I don't know how, but we'll see.
You're going to go.
I think I am. I'm excited. Yes. Lori, I'm going to spotlight you and ask for you to share how people can reach you. And again, I'm now putting things in social media so you can find anybody who's been on the show, any sponsorship that we do. I put it right now on all the comments across our social media platforms. So let me just spotlight you. Who would you like to contact you, and how should people reach you?
Okay. The people who I want to contact me are people who want a great killer dating app profile written. I'm getting super busy doing that. I'm having a ball writing them. People are delighted. In fact, one of my clients has had so many men reach out to her and say, I have never seen a profile like this before. So good. So I want to help others. So they can reach me at smartfunnysingle.com. That's my website. Same thing on Instagram, smartfunnysingle. And also on Clubhouse at Dating App Writer. And also under my name, Lori Mendelsohn.
Thank you for making it so easy for people to find you, Lori. I love all the consistency. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
All right, my
Jacalyn.
friend. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you again next week.
Very good. Thank you. Have a good week.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's been a great day of broadcasting and interviews from around the world. Thank you so much, Frances. Thank you so much, Lori. I'll just share with you a quick rundown of our shows for tomorrow. So we start off, and these are all in Eastern Standard Time. I'm not going to give all the times, but starting at 9 a.m. and running through 4 p.m. We have Life's Amazing Journey. Then we have The Power of Etiquette and Manners, followed by Fashion, Fitness, Travel, and Leisure, The United Kitchens, and presenting Pet Psychic Amina. Thank you to all of our guests, to all of our co-hosts. Thank you to my partners. And thank you so much to Desiree Richardson for bestowing the honor on me of the Women of Hearts Award for 2021. I am so thrilled and honored to be selected, and I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Final announcement is this Saturday, I will be venturing out for a very good cause, something that's near and dear to me. It is the Crohn's Colitis Foundation Spin for Cures event. I will be riding a bike for 12 to 3 for 3 hours with some breaks in between. And it's all for the great cause of raising money and awareness for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. So if you're interested in supporting my work and our team's work, Dr. J's Colitis Crew, you can go over to my Facebook page, which is Jacalyn Kerbeck, and you can just donate. I would really appreciate it. Our goal is $15,000. And when I last checked, we were at $11,945. So anything you can do, any amount, is greatly appreciated. And I really mean that. All right. Thank you again. God bless you. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other and give yourself grace. Bye.